Hello friends, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel and thank you so much for joining me. This is Sherry and I'm here with a finished flip through of this bird journal. I went ahead and finished it up. We worked on the pages together on Monday and I just kept working on it and I think she is done. So yeah, this turned out super cute. I'm so glad. Well, first of all, what motivated me to go ahead and do it was Wallpaper Wednesday, which is hosted, an open collab hosted by Jovi at Creating with Jovi. So I'll link her channel. And then also, I found this little bird piece of fabric at excuse me, at a thrift store, and it reminded me of a journal that Carla Frizzell had done that I thought was so cute. And she has done several bird journals with a piece of fabric where she has pictures, little like this fabric pieces with birds on them. And so it reminded me of that when I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, because I've never seen any fabric with birds on it, at my thrift stores. And when I saw this, I was so excited. I was like, oh, I can finally make a bird journal. So now I've had this for a while. So it took Wallpaper Wednesday to push me to do it. But this is the cover, this wallpaper here. It's nice, sturdy wallpaper and thick. You know how wallpaper is. And so this is probably actually washable if it ever needed to be washed off. This, could actually probably be washed off with a little bit of sponge and soap, a little bit of soap or something. But I just thought of that because it's wallpaper. You know how you put it on the walls. And anything you put on the walls, you usually want it to be, cleanable. So I just thought of that when I was working on this. Anyway, here's my bird. Fabric, it was from an apron, like I said. The string here, that is the closure, is also from the apron, and so is this fabric here. It was made out of this kind of like denim-like fabric with these stitches through it, and it had this in the middle on, I think, the middle of the front, like where there was a pocket, like a big pocket. So under here I have some Aida cloth, which reminded me, I got it from the thrift store because I like the color and it reminded me of burlap. So I got that. I have a little piece of light blue lace over here and these two little doily pieces. And this is a little flower that I made that also was inspired by Carla Frizzell. She made these on her channel and then I tried it. And they're super easy and fun and so cute to add to things like clusters and like this right here. So yeah, that is the cover. I have this little bee dangle here that I made one day on my channel in a video. Maybe you saw that one where I wrapped some paper clips. It wasn't the recent one. It was one a few months ago. And it's hanging on a bulb pin that is just clipped on here and like through this fabric. So it is removable. And I have some pretty little bee dangles there. So that's kind of like just a little decoration. So it just unties. Here I have a little this I did do recently when I was showing you these buttons, and I said, sometimes maybe you just want to pop one onto a bulb pin, and there I clipped that on the string here as a decoration. So I have these strings sewn into, like I sewed, this cover is sewn all the way around. So the strings that I used here are sewn down right here. Okay. So since the video, we were working on the pages, like I said, I of course finished it, but I added pockets. I was talking about, I didn't know what I was going to do for pockets, and I had to think about that. And so I did think about it, and I decided to use this beautiful lace that I have. It's kind of a scalloped edge here, and it's straight on the bottom. Well, it's actually a little scalloped on the bottom. But you can see it's nice wide lace, great for pockets. And this fabric inside here is also from that apron, so you can see the stitching in the fabric there is the same as on the outside spine. So this is a vintage, I believe this is vintage. Does it have a date on it? I don't see a date, but it's a postcard. It has a pretty cool looking stamp there. This is airmail, and it was used, and it has this cute little picture, and I just thought the colors and everything looked so nice, and I added a little piece of lace, the same lace that's on the front there, sewed that on. So that is a little, now you can still write on there if you want, or you could glue it down somewhere. whatever you want to do. But I just thought that was pretty. Now, if you remember, when we were working on the pages, I had a bunny page here. And after, I was kind of like going for nature, birds, but nature also. But after the video, I was like, I've got to have some bird pages. I know I do. So I went through looking through my books and things, and I found a couple of bird books. So I kind of narrowed it down to one, because this one that I actually used throughout this book, it was like a golden book, library of knowledge or something about birds. And it had some nice big pictures like this in there. So I changed out the bunny to a bird picture because this is a bird journal. So, yep. And we've got a pretty cardinal couple here, the male and the female. It says it right here. So that's the first page. And this was actually one of the first pages in the book. And it has this pretty paper on it too, like one of the end pages. It had this beautiful blue pattern on it. So that is a page, that whole thing. That's not like I didn't put that on there. That is straight from the book. But I did have to hinge it together because I think this was on the outside, you know what I mean? And the birds were on the inside. And I wanted to turn it around, so I had to detach it from the other page. And then I actually didn't want the other page. I wanted to pick out a different page that would end up being the back page here. And so I hinged it together, and that's what this is, with some coffee dyed paper. So there's another pretty bird page back here, and I really wanted these yellow birds to match. They're not, I don't think they're the same kind of bird, but they kind of match the yellow bird. These birds have yellow in them. So that's how that happened. Okay, so then, we put coffee dyed paper in here. If you watched Monday's video, you saw the papers we picked out. So everything else is the same order that we put it in. But I did add, lots of things. So here's a pretty ruffle here that is made from a vintage sheet. And again, it's with the yellow. I had made some ruffles a while ago out of my vintage sheets, so I have a little stash here. And I looked through them, and I found this yellow one, and I thought it was perfect to go with the yellow birds. And then here's another yellow bird page from, I think this was the same book, but I'm not even sure. It might have been the other book that I was looking at. But anyway, it's got yellow birds on it too. Here on this next page, you see this was coffee dyed paper, the bird page, and then another coffee dyed paper here where I added, this is a little picture from the book that I was using that I talked about just now, and I made it a pocket on the side. And this is a little florist card. I have some vintage florist cards that I got at an estate sale, and this one has a little bird. It says congratulations, and it has a little bird, like it's supposed to be a wedding. Congratulations. And these are like little lovebirds, but it's a little lovebirds in a bird cage, so how appropriate is that for a bird journal? I thought that was pretty cute. Then this is that pretty stationery. Did I spritz this on the back? No, it's just white on the back, but the other color here is showing through. This is that composition book paper, and then this is the other stationery paper that we were looking at with the double-sided, text or writing, like it looks like handwriting on there. And then here's another little flip-up spot here where you can journal in here, and then I left a pocket behind, and then here I put a little piece from the book, the hummingbirds, and then here I made a little booklet out of one of the pages that I had pulled out, and I was trying to use, and I couldn't really find a spot for it, and I decided to make it into a little booklet because I think this is a mama bird and a baby bird, I think. I'm not totally sure, it doesn't say, but this one just looks smaller. Or maybe he's just in maybe it's just two birds, and this one's in like a hole in a tree or a tree trunk or something. Anyway, I made a little cover out of it like that. I did distress around and rounded the corners, and then I added some coffee dyed paper in here. And this has pretty bird pictures in it too, on the other side of the page. And you have several pages of coffee dyed paper. I just sewed it down the middle like I've been doing with my little notebooks. And I thought this would be the coolest little booklet to, you can write whatever you want in here, but wouldn't it be a nice little list booklet with the long, narrow pages? So that is in there. And then here is where I put the envelope. I told you I was going to you know, make the envelope a flip out. So here's the flap that I decorated with a piece of doily that was like a scrap, really. Where did I cut it from? Oh, I think I cut it from this, and so I'll show you this in a minute. But it was on the end of this. This had like pointy ends on it for some reason. I got it from the thrift store like that. So I cut it flat, you know, straight here and here. And I had 2 triangles after that. So this is one of the triangles. And then I added one of my little, you know, book page flowers that we did the other day with my wooden buttons. I added that on top there as a little decoration on that flap. And then this can be a nice little tuck spot. Here I have, you know, I always say when I show you my Thrifty Thursday that whenever I see bookmarks, I always pick them up if I can at the thrift store. And this was a pretty one there that I thought went well with this kind of bird and nature theme. So here is the envelope here that I decorated. My candle's going out. But yeah, I decorated here with this pretty bird, Robin, on this envelope. Here's the other triangle right here that I used to decorate this little corner. And you flip over, and I put 3 pieces of fabric here that I have prepared some of my fabric scraps. I cut into little squares with my pinking shears, so I keep those handy. And I went through those, that little bag of little squares that I have, and found these 3 blue ones. They're all different colors of blue, but don't they look pretty there as a little decoration? And then here in the envelope, I made a journaling card out of one of the pages with all these, you know, multiple kinds of birds. I thought that was so pretty. And this was actually another end page in the book. This blue page is it was kind of thick, not cardstock, but just a thick paper. And I thought the blue was pretty, so I used that as the backing for this bird page and made that, sewed all around. I've got straight going all the way around and then zigzag across the bottom. And so that is now a journaling card that I put in this envelope right here. And then here's that vintage card we put in, and it has a little blue bird on it. Don't know if you noticed that the other day. Here I just clipped another little postcard that I thought was pretty. It has blues and yellows, it has a little butterfly, and I just thought it was really cute, so I put it in here. It is an unused postcard, so you know, you can have, whoever gets this, ends up with this journal, can have some fun. And here's a pretty little tassel paper clip that I think I might have got this in Happy Mail. I know I didn't make this. And it says hello. Does it say hello on it? I think it says hello on it or something like that. So a cute little fun paper clip. So here's the belly band that I made. So I ended up, I wanted to use this lace as a belly band. And I decided to back it with, this is just some text from the bird book that I had. You know, there was text on one page, text here, say, and birds here. So I was using the birds somewhere else. So I had this nice strip of text left. So I just backed this lace with that. So it can kind of strengthen the lace, you know, because, you know, lace is just floppy. And then I just sewed it on here, onto the text piece, and then, you know, attached it here as a belly band. And then I made another little journaling card here with these pretty birds. Now I think this one is the mama and the baby because she's feeding the baby. So isn't that pretty? I added a little piece of trim up here and sewed all around. And again, I used another piece of that blue page that I used before on the other journaling card. So that is a journaling card for that belly band. And then we have, you know, another bird page here. The avocado dyed craft paper that I showed you. Some more coffee dyed composition book paper, but this one has the lines. The other one, I said the lines went away when I coffee dyed it. And so that made a really nice effect with the coffee and the blue all mixed together. So here's our flip out with another, well, you hadn't seen this. This is a bird playing card. And so I sewed that on there. This is a post-it note, post-it where it's, you know, the tri-fold post-it. I have clipped on here a little, so it's like an envelope. I just took a piece of scrap coffee dyed paper, stamped on here a little bird. I have some bird rubber stamps, and it's like an envelope. See here where I have the flap, but it's not glued together. So this can be secret journaling, or you can glue it together and make it into an envelope. But I left that as an option. and it's just clipped right here on this tri-fold postolette. So here's a flip up here. I did fussy cut out a seagull here and put that there. I thought it just fit there so perfectly. I was going through the whole book looking for a bird to put here, and this one was the one that fit. And there's just 2 tags in here. These are some tags I made the other day when I was having my first day that I learned how to use my big kick, my Sizzix big kick. So these are 2 tags we made that day, so they can be journaled on or whatever. And I put some little, whenever I find this lace, it's like, I don't know what it's from, but I call it baby lace because it's so fine and pretty. But I used baby lace on here because of the tiny holes. I was just about to make the holes bigger and put some other bigger something there, but then I found my baby lace and decided just to use this baby lace in those little holes. So that worked out. So those 2 tags are in there. And then here's the calendar, which is the middle. Okay, and then here's the strings, which I did, I didn't mention I did a 5 pamphlet stitch in here. I always do that now. And on my strings here, I have some gorgeous little bead dangles. This one is like, this one is a blue. Let's see, I'm trying to see how many pieces are on here. I think there's 2 beads and a bead cap, but a blue crystal. And then this one's yellow. So I picked out these colors for the birds, the blue birds and the yellow birds that we have in here. So 2 gorgeous little bead dangles there. And then, so now back half, coffee dyed paper. Here's the postolette. If you remember when we were making the pages, this little flap was getting in my way. It was kind of like sticking up like that and bothering me. So I put a paper clip on there. And I said, maybe I'll make that into a flip. I didn't make it into a flip. I thought I would leave that for the decision of the person, whoever gets this. So I just left the paper clip on there. And so this can be a flip out where you can write or whatever you want to do in here. Or of course you can glue down the edges and make it into a tuck spot. And it's real pretty yellow flowers too. That's why I have a few of these, and I picked this one because of the yellow flowers. Then here's another bird playing card. This is different from the other one. I think the other one was cardinals. This one looks like robins, I think. This robin has a blue tail though. But anyway, Eastern something. Bluebird. Oh, I think it says Eastern bluebird. Maybe that's what that is. But anyway, that's a flip out, then that's sewn on there. This is the avocado dyed graph paper, and the other's half of that bird page with the yellow birds, mostly yellow birds. There's some other birds on there too. Coffee dyed paper. Here's another tuck spot where I cut out a bird here and put a pocket there. And this is another florist card, and this one had ducks on it. So ducks are birds. So I put that in there, and you can write on the back of these or glue them down somewhere, whatever you want to do. But I put that in there. And then on the other side, I have another postcard that this is actually a new one. The other 2 are older, like vintage, but this one's a newer one that I had picked up when I went to, where did I go? I was on vacation, I think in North Carolina, though, over by the beach, and found these at a little store. And this was, I thought it was so cool because it's got this picture on this side talking about the dogwood, and it has the cardinal. The dogwood is the North Carolina state flower. And then here is another picture on the back. So pretty, I thought. These were so pretty. I got just a couple of those on that vacation over at the beach that year. So this library pocket here is a pocket that was in the bird book that I was using, where I got all these bird images. So this was a library card or a pocket in there. So I took it out, I peeled it out of there and off the back of that book cover, and added this pretty bird nest. Look at the blue eggs. And then added some pretty blue lace. This is ruffly blue lace. And then I found this. I went to look at my words, and I found learning to fly. I was like, how perfect is that for bird eggs, bird nest. So I put that there. And then this, there's 2 of these in here. This is one of them. And this was on the back of the calendar page we have in here. There was a back, the back cover had 2 of these sections on it. This one was birthdays and anniversaries, but doesn't it look like a library card? It's blank on the back, but I was like, it was this shape already. I really didn't even have to cut it down or anything. I just cut it out, put a hole there, and put some lace on there, some blue lace. And then it fit perfectly in here. I was like, wow, I mean, that couldn't have worked out more perfect because, you know, it looks like a library card and it fits right in that pocket there. So that was fun when I discovered that. But here's the rest of the pages. This is a little kind of like fussy cut bird here. I did distress around that, put him right there. Here's a little like gift tag that I just put here, and I like these because you can do some like private journaling in there. And put that on that page. Another pretty bird page. Here's another one of my ruffles that I put on this page. And let's see, what am I getting on? Oh, my little dangle on the outside, bead dangle, paperclip dangle. Okay, so here's the last page with the birds on this side, the yellow birds over here, and then here's the back pocket. I put a little trim here because when I cut this pocket, I meant it to go under here, and it kind of like didn't go under as much as I thought, and there was a little bit of a jagged, kind of, not really bad, but you know, I could have left it, but I just thought it was a little bit too jagged for my liking, the lace where I had cut it, and I thought the pages were going to cover it up, but it didn't. So I put this little pretty little trim there, and then so here's our pocket, and here's the other piece that was I was talking about from the back of the calendar. This is the other part, telephone numbers, doctor, fire department, you know, type of thing. And I just added this little, you know, from my pinking sheared squares. Those come in so handy if you don't know what to do with your scraps and you have some pinking shears. It's so nice to keep these handy. Like I decorated the envelope with those 3, and they're good to use for tabs too. I just folded that one over and sewed it down right there and fussy cut this little hummingbird and put him right there. Isn't he pretty? So that is it for the journal. When you see this video, it will be in my shop, and that was a lot of fun to create. I've never made a bird themed journal before, so that was so much fun that now I'm going to be keeping my eye out for some more bird images, like fabric like that. I think that was just so perfect, and it turned out so cute. So the goodie bag is this. This is a little bag I received from Kimberly, you know, Whimsy and Mayhem Paper Crafts. I'll link her channel below too. And she sent me this little avocado. It has avocados on it. Little kind of cool little paper bag. And I thought I'd use this for the gift goodies. I mean, not gift bag, but goodies. I usually keep adding goodies until it goes out the door. But what I've got in here right now is a tag. This one had a hummingbird on it and a bee. And I thought it was really cute. So I just pulled from my stash a few things. I put all the scraps in here. You never know when you're going to need a hinge. If somebody got this, they didn't want my scraps, you could throw them away. But, you know, I like to keep these for hinges and things like that. I have a piece of that blue lace that I was using in here. It's a full page length. So if anybody needs blue lace, here's a couple of blank tags to decorate. This one, you know, is one of these that, you know, I didn't make. This one I made. So I like to make these out of my file folder scraps. And then I have a couple pages from the bird book that I had left. This was a scrap. These are scraps. Yeah, these were scraps pages. I have some actual. See, here's one of the blue pages. This is the other. There was 2, one in the front and one in the back. So this is the other blue page. So I put that in there so you could use that for backing if you want to, like I did. Here's a couple of coffee dyed pieces that were actually scraps from the paper I was using. Here's 2 pages from the book with some more pretty birds, the yellows here and blackbird over there, some cardinals and just all kinds of birds there. So a couple of, and that's a vintage book. That's a vintage book. And then I put some index cards in here, a couple different pretty colors because this is just a, you know, pretty color journal, that type of thing, greens and pinks. I thought that would go. And I got myself a little stamp that says, this book belongs to, and stamped it on a few of these little pieces like this. I have a paper punch that punches out this shape. So I just put one of those in there in case you wanted to use that. So that's what I've got in there so far. And if I find out anything else or think of anything else that I wanted to include in here, which I usually do, so there might be some surprises in here. But I usually do after the video until it goes out the door. I'm always like, oh, I needed to do this. I needed to put one of those in there, one of these in there. So that is the journal. I hope you enjoyed. And thank you for watching. And I will see you all next time in my next video. And have a great day. Happy crafting.